Finding home again. I stand in the empty nest of my home, boxes packed tightly, remnants of laughter now mere echoes in the hollowness. Sarah and David are off to college, and all I can feel is this overwhelming sense of loss. The silence wraps around me like a heavy blanket, stifling. My home, once alive with energy, feels too big now, too quiet. I glance at Michael, my husband, trying to catch his gaze. "Lisa, it's time to embrace this change," he says, his voice steady but distant. "We'll find our rhythm again." But I can't shake the feeling of being lost, adrift in a sea of uncertainty. My identity has been tied to motherhood for so long. Without the kids, who am I? I don't know how to be me without them, I confess, my voice barely a whisper. He nods, understanding yet unable to penetrate the fog that has settled in my mind. "You're still you, love. We'll figure it out together, I promise." But his words feel like a soothing balm that can't quite reach the wound. I smile weakly, but inside, I'm suffocating. As I walk through the halls, I catch glimpses of our family life. Flashbacks flood my mind, family dinners filled with laughter, school plays where Sarah shone as the star, David's triumphs in science fairs. Each moment was a thread in the tapestry of our lives, vibrant and full of color. I remember the values my parents instilled in me, the importance of unity and love. We were a family that weathered storms together. It was comforting, reassuring. But with the children gone, that sense of togetherness feels frayed, hanging by a thread. Sarah, my passionate artist, is off to explore the world of creativity. David, my aspiring engineer, dives headfirst into his dreams. They are excited, and I should be too. Yet, every smile they share fills me with a sense of abandonment. It's as if I've become a spectator in my own life. "Don't forget us, Mom." Sarah beams through the video call, her bright eyes sparkling with hope and dreams. "We'll FaceTime all the time, promise." "Yeah, Mum. It'll be fun," David chimes in, his enthusiasm infectious. But their excitement feels like a double-edged sword. I want to be happy for them, but it only magnifies my loneliness. I smile, nodding, but inside, my heart is heavy. As the days pass, I find myself scrolling through social media, comparing my life to those of other mothers. They seem to thrive in this new phase, their smiles wide and their lives full. I scroll and scroll, feeling more inadequate with each post. "Hey Lisa, how are you holding up?" Jennifer, my closest friend, asks over coffee one afternoon. Her eyes are filled with genuine concern. "Oh, just adjusting," I say, forcing a smile that doesn't quite reach my eyes. "It's all good, I'm fine." But I'm not fine. The truth is, I'm drowning in my own expectations. I've always been the strong one, the one who kept everything together. Now, I feel like I'm slipping through the cracks, and I don't know how to stop it. The conversations with Jennifer become a lifeline, but I push her away with forced optimism. "I just need to give it time," I tell her, but deep down, I know I'm struggling. As the kids settle into their new lives, my feelings of inadequacy grow. I find myself withdrawing, avoiding gatherings at church, ignoring calls from friends. I'm trapped in this bubble of despair, and I can't seem to break free. One night, I forget to pick up David from his college orientation. I can still hear the disappointment in his voice when I finally call him. "Mom, I waited for you. What happened?" "I'm sorry, David. I lost track of time," I say, but the words feel hollow. The silence on the other end is deafening. When he finally speaks, his disappointment cuts deep. "It's okay, I guess, but you promised you'd be there." In that moment, the weight of my inadequacy crashes over me like a tidal wave. My children, my world, and I feel like I'm failing them. Later, during dinner, they express their concerns, but I can't bear to look at them. "You just don't understand." I snap, pushing them away, believing I must handle this alone. But I'm not handling it. I'm crumbling. Michael watches, helpless, as I spiral deeper into isolation. He tries to connect, reach out, but I only retreat further into my shell. I can feel the tension building, like a storm brewing on the horizon. The family video call becomes a battleground of emotions. The kids are excited, sharing stories about their new lives, their laughter filling the void. I try to put on a brave face, but my sadness seeps through the cracks. "Lisa, are you okay?" Sarah asks, concern etched on her face, her voice tinged with worry. "I'm fine. Just tired," I reply sharply, but the words feel like a lie, echoing in the silence that follows. As the call ends, I'm left feeling more isolated than ever, a stranger in my own home. One evening, after a particularly exhausting day, the dam breaks. I lash out at Michael, my pent-up frustration spilling over. "You don't understand my pain. You haven't lost everything like I have." He takes a step back, hurt flashing across his face. "Lisa, I'm here for you. You're not alone in this." "I feel like I've lost everything." I cry, my voice breaking. My heart feels like it's shattering into a million pieces, and all I want is for someone to help me pick them up. In that moment of vulnerability, I realize just how far I've fallen. The tears flow, and for the first time, I allow myself to feel the weight of my grief. Michael stands there, a pillar of strength, waiting for me to reach out. But how do I find the words? How do I ask for help when I've always been the strong one? As I sit on the floor, surrounded by the remnants of my once vibrant family life, I know that this is just the beginning of a long journey back to finding home again. The next morning dawns gray, clouds hanging low, mirroring the heaviness in my heart. I wake to the sound of silence, the absence of laughter echoing in my mind. I slip out of bed, careful not to wake Michael. He needs his rest, especially after the emotional storm last night. I shuffle into the kitchen, the familiar smell of coffee brewing a small comfort. I pour myself a cup, the warm liquid steaming against my hands. It's a ritual I've always cherished, a moment of peace before the chaos of the day unfolds. But today, the coffee tastes bitter, a reminder of how everything feels off balance. The sun attempts to break through the clouds, casting a soft glow across the kitchen table. I sit there, staring out the window, watching raindrops race down the glass. Each drop feels like a tear, reminders of the sorrow I've carried for far too long. I take a deep breath, willing myself to embrace the day, to take a step forward. "Hey, love." Michael's voice breaks through my thoughts as he enters the kitchen. He looks tired but determined, a look I admire yet feel guilty for causing. "How about we go for a walk? Get some fresh air?" I nod, knowing he's right. The walls of this house feel like they're closing in on me, and I need to breathe. We step out into the cool air, the world outside vibrant, alive. The trees sway gently in the breeze, their leaves whispering secrets. I take in the sights, but my heart feels heavy, tethered to the past. As we walk, Michael reaches for my hand, his warmth a grounding force. "You know, Lisa, it's okay to feel lost. It's a huge change for both of us." I feel like I'm failing, I admit, my voice barely above a whisper. I should be cheering them on, but all I can think about is how empty this place feels. He stops, turning to face me, eyes filled with understanding. "You're not failing. You're human. We've poured everything into raising them, and now we need to find our way back to each other." I take a deep breath, his words wrapping around me like a comforting embrace. "But how? I've lost myself in the process." "Let's rediscover you together," he suggests, a spark of hope in his voice. "What did you love before all this? What made you feel alive?" I pause, searching my mind for the vibrant threads of my identity. "I used to paint," I finally say, memories flooding back of afternoons spent with a brush in hand, creating worlds filled with color. "But I haven't picked up a brush in years." "Then it's time to start again," he encourages, squeezing my hand. "You have a gift, don't let it fade away." As we continue our walk, I feel a flicker of excitement. The prospect of painting again feels like a lifeline, a way to reclaim a part of myself that's been buried under layers of motherhood. In the following days, I dig out my old easel from the garage, dust covering it like a forgotten memory. The familiar smell of paint brings a rush of nostalgia. I set up in the corner of the living room, sunlight streaming through the window, illuminating my workspace. I take a moment to breathe, to let the anticipation build. With each stroke of the brush, I feel pieces of myself awaken. The colors dance across the canvas, vibrant and bold. I'm transported back to a time when my worries melted away with the flow of paint. The world outside fades, leaving only the rhythm of my heart and the soft sound of the brush against canvas. Michael peeks in, watching me with a smile. "This is beautiful, Lisa. You haven't lost your touch." "Thanks," I reply, feeling a warmth spread through me. It feels good to create again. As the days turn into weeks, I find myself painting more and more. Each piece reflects my journey, my struggles, and my healing. I share them with Michael, who encourages me to display them around the house. Slowly, the emptiness begins to fade, replaced by splashes of color that breathe life back into our home. Yet, the feelings of loneliness still linger, lurking in the corners. I often call Sarah and David, eager to hear about their lives but sometimes afraid of how I'll feel afterward. Their excitement is contagious, but it also amplifies my sense of longing. One evening, during a video call, I noticed Sarah's artwork in the background. "Mom, look, I painted this for you," she beams, holding up a canvas filled with swirling colors. My heart swells with pride. "It's a piece of home." "It's stunning, sweetheart," I say, tears brimming in my eyes. "You've captured so much emotion." "Just like you used to, Mom," she says softly. "You've inspired me." Her words strike a chord deep within me. Maybe I haven't lost everything after all. Perhaps I've simply transformed, evolving into someone who can still inspire and create joy, both for myself and my children. After the call, I sit in my newly vibrant living room, surrounded by the fruits of my labor. I realize that while the children may be off on their journeys, we're still connected. Their success feeds my spirit, and my art can bridge the gap between us. I pick up my brush once again, filled with renewed purpose. In this space, where silence once reigned, I find my voice. Each stroke is a reminder of resilience, of the strength I possess to overcome this chapter of loss. As I paint, I know I'm not just finding home again, I'm building it anew, one brushstroke at a time. With each passing day, I begin to understand that the journey back to myself isn't a straight path, but a winding road filled with twists and turns. I'm learning to embrace the uncertainty, to find joy in the small victories. I close my eyes, envisioning a future where my children return, and my home is filled with laughter once more. I'm finding my way back, and I'm not afraid to ask for help along the way. After all, we're in this together, Michael, the children, and me. And no matter how far apart we may be, love binds us, stronger than any distance. The morning light streams through the window, warming the room with a gentle glow. I stand before my easel, brush poised between my fingers, but my mind drifts. Today's canvas is blank, but my thoughts are anything but empty. I feel an unsettling restlessness brewing within me, a storm that threatens to overshadow the calm I've worked so hard to cultivate. Suddenly, the door swings open, and Jennifer bursts in, her enthusiasm palpable. "Lisa, you won't believe what I just found at the charity shop." She holds up a vintage frame, ornate and beautiful. "It'll be perfect for your next piece." I smile, but the warmth that should flood me feels hesitantly contained. "That's lovely, Jen. I appreciate the thought. Come on, you've got to see it. Let's hang it above your latest painting." She moves around the room, her energy sparking a flicker of excitement within me. "Sure, let's do that," I reply, trying to match her enthusiasm. As she busies herself rearranging my artwork, I can't help but notice the way the colors seem to vibrate with life. Jennifer's presence is a reminder that I'm not alone in this journey, yet something still feels amiss. "All right, here we go," she announces, holding the frame against the wall. "What do you think?" "It looks great," I reply, forcing a smile, but my heart isn't in it. I'm aware that while the outside of my life is displaying vibrant changes, I'm still grappling with lingering shadows. Michael enters, sensing the shift in the atmosphere. "Everything all right?" His brow furrows with concern, as if he can see right through the facade I've put up. "Just some new decor," I say lightly, waving a hand in dismissal, but the weight of my emotions feels heavier than ever. "Let's take a break," he suggests, his voice soothing. "How about we go for a proper walk, clear our heads?" I nod, grateful for his grounding presence. We step outside, the crisp air filling my lungs like a refreshing balm. The world is alive, birds chirp, and leaves rustle, but the peace I seek feels elusive, as if it's just out of reach. As we walk, I glance at Michael. "It's so hard sometimes, you know. I want to feel happy about my art, but..." I trail off, frustration bubbling beneath the surface. "But you feel like something's missing?" He finishes for me, his voice steady. "Yes, exactly. I'm creating, but it's like I'm chasing a ghost. I thought getting back to painting would fill the void. But..." I shake my head, the words tumbling out. "I don't know if I can keep doing this." He stops walking, turning to face me, his hands resting on my shoulders. "You're not chasing a ghost, Lisa. You're searching for yourself. It's okay to feel lost. It's part of the process." Tears prick my eyes, and I blink them away. I just don't want to let anyone down. I want to be inspiring to the kids, to you. You're not letting anyone down. You're doing the hard work of rediscovering who you are. That's inspiring in itself, he assures me, his gaze unwavering. I take a deep breath, letting his words sink in. I know I need to be patient with myself. It's just hard. I get it. Why don't we tackle this together? Let's figure out what's really at the heart of this. What do you want your art to say? His question hangs in the air, and I ponder it as we continue walking. What do I want my art to convey? I've been painting my emotions, but is there something deeper I'm avoiding? Maybe. I begin hesitantly. I want to express that it's okay to struggle, to feel lost. That's part of being human, right? Yes, exactly, he encourages, his face lighting up. There's beauty in vulnerability. If you can tap into that, it could be powerful. His enthusiasm ignites a spark within me. You're right. I want to embrace that side of my journey. The messiness, the uncertainty. It's all part of the creative process. As the day unfolds, I find myself compelled to return to my easel. I pick up my brush and let the colors flow freely, allowing my emotions to spill onto the canvas. I pour my heart into each stroke, creating a piece that reflects not just my struggles, but the hope I'm beginning to cultivate. Days turn into nights, and each session at my easel becomes a cathartic release. I'm painting a storm, swirling clouds and flashes of light breaking through. It becomes a testament to the journey I'm on, a journey of rediscovery, of finding strength in vulnerability. I call Sarah one evening, eager to share my latest creation. "Mom, tell me everything," she exclaims, her excitement infectious. I painted a storm, I say, my voice trembling with anticipation. It's raw and chaotic, but it has this light breaking through. "That sounds amazing," she says, her enthusiasm palpable. "I'd love to see it." As we talk, I realize how much her support fuels my spirit. She reminds me of the connection we share, even from afar. Later, I sit down with Michael, my heart brimming with hope. I think I'm starting to understand what my art means to me now. It's not just about creating something pretty, it's about expressing my journey. He wraps an arm around me, pride shining in his eyes. "That's beautiful, Lisa. You're using your art to connect with yourself and with others. That's powerful." As the weeks pass, I see the changes not only in my artwork, but within myself. I'm beginning to embrace the uncertainty, the messiness of life. I feel lighter, as if the weight of expectations has lifted. One afternoon, I stand before my canvas, brush in hand, when a thought strikes me. What if I invited the kids home, to see my work, and share in this journey? It could be a chance to reconnect, to remind them that they are a part of this transformation. I grab my phone, heart racing with excitement. "Sarah, would you and David like to come home for a weekend? I want to share something important with you." "Of course, Mum, we'd love to," she replies, enthusiasm echoing through the phone. As I hang up, I feel the flicker of hope ignite into a flame. This is more than just a visit, it's a chance to bridge the distance that has grown between us. I'm ready to show them my journey, the art that has become a reflection of my soul. This homecoming feels like the beginning of something profound. I'm no longer just searching for myself, I'm creating a space where we can all find our way back together. I close my eyes, envisioning laughter filling the air, the warmth of family surrounding me. I'm ready to embrace this journey, one brushstroke, one moment, one step at a time. The weekend finally arrived, and I stood in the kitchen, the aroma of freshly baked scones wafting through the air. I wanted to create a welcoming space, one that felt like home, a reminder of family, warmth, and love. The sun streamed through the window, casting a golden glow on the table set with care. I arranged the scones, clotted cream, and strawberry jam, an inviting spread that mirrored my heart's desire. Connection. As I heard the familiar sound of their car pulling into the driveway, my pulse quickened. I wiped my hands on a tea towel, trying to contain the flurry of emotions rising within me. Sarah and David bounded through the door, their energy filling the space like sunlight breaking through a cloudy sky. "Mom!" Sarah exclaimed, rushing to envelop me in a hug. David followed suit, squeezing me tightly. "It's so good to be home." "Welcome home, my loves." I laughed, my heart swelling with joy. After the initial flurry of greetings, we gathered around the table, the scones disappearing quickly as laughter bubbled up between us. It felt like old times, yet different, an unspoken acknowledgement of the changes we had all experienced. "Your paintings are incredible, Mum," David said between mouthfuls, his eyes shining with admiration. "I can't wait to see the storm you told us about." "Thank you, darling. I've been working hard to express what I've been feeling," I replied, a warmth spreading through me. "Come on, I'll show you." We moved into my studio, the walls adorned with vibrant canvases. I could see their eyes widen as they took in the colors, the emotions swirling in every stroke. My heart raced as I awaited their reactions. "This is amazing," Sarah exclaimed, pointing at one piece. "The way you've captured the chaos and the light, there's so much depth here." "Exactly," David chimed in. "It's like you're telling a story, Mum." I felt tears prick at the corners of my eyes. That's what I've been trying to do. To express that it's okay to struggle, to embrace the messiness of life. Just like we talked about, Michael. Michael stepped into the room, the corners of his mouth curving up as he observed the scene. "What do you think, guys? Your mum's a force of nature." "Definitely," Sarah replied, her enthusiasm infectious. "I love how you found your voice through this." "Thanks, sweetheart," I said, my heart swelling with gratitude. "It means the world to me to share this with you." As we stood there, surrounded by the vivid reflections of my journey, I felt a shift within me. This wasn't just about my art, it was about us, a family, reconnecting, rebuilding bonds that had started to fray. "Can we try painting together?" David asked, a glimmer of excitement in his eyes. "I've been dabbling a bit, but it would be cool to learn from you, Mum." "Yes, let's do it," I replied, feeling a thrill at the idea. "We can set up a canvas in the backyard, the light is perfect there." As we moved outside, the sun warmed our backs, and I felt a sense of peace wash over me. We set up 3 easels, each one a blank canvas waiting to be filled. I glanced over at Michael, who was lounging in a chair, a content smile on his face as he watched us. "All right, let's start with some basics," I instructed, my heart racing. "Just let your emotions guide you. No pressure, there are no mistakes in art." As we painted, I could see the joy unfolding in their expressions. David focused intently, his tongue peeking out as he concentrated. Sarah danced around, her brush gliding effortlessly across the canvas, each stroke an extension of her vibrant spirit. I let my own brush wander, creating a new piece that felt alive, a reflection of the love and connection swirling around us. "Look at this," Sarah called out, showcasing her work. It was a burst of colors, a blend of flowers and skies, radiating joy. "I feel so free painting like this." "It's beautiful, Sarah," I exclaimed, my heart swelling with pride. "You've captured your spirit perfectly." David held up his canvas, a dynamic representation of a cityscape. "It's a bit chaotic, but I like it," he said, a hint of uncertainty in his voice. "It's fantastic," I assured him. "It shows your passion for engineering and design. Embrace that chaos." As the afternoon wore on, we shared stories, laughter echoing through the garden. I felt lighter, as if the weight of worry and expectation had lifted. This was what I'd yearned for, a sense of belonging, a reminder that we could weather the storms together. When the sun began to set, casting a warm golden hue over our canvases, I looked at my children. "Thank you for being here, this means so much to me." "Thanks for inviting us, Mum, we love you," Sarah said, her voice soft and sincere. "Always," I replied, my heart full. We gathered our paintings, the pieces a testament to our shared journey, our love woven into each brushstroke. I felt a sense of redemption, a realization that while we may be on different paths, our bond remained unbreakable. Later that evening, as we sat together on the porch, I pulled out my phone and shared the photos of our creations. I watched as their faces lit up with pride, and I felt a surge of hope that this was just the beginning of a new chapter. "Let's do this more often," David suggested, his eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "Family paint nights could be a thing." "Yes," Sarah agreed, her excitement infectious. "A new tradition." I nodded, the idea igniting a fire within me. "Absolutely. We'll make it a priority. This is our time to create, to connect." As we planned our next family painting night, I realized that home wasn't just a place. It was a feeling, a collection of moments filled with love, laughter, and shared experiences. I felt empowered, ready to embrace whatever came next. With my family by my side, I knew we could face the unknown together. I closed my eyes, letting the warmth of the evening wrap around me, a promise of brighter days ahead. We were not just finding our way back home, we were forging a new path, one filled with creativity, resilience, and unwavering love. The weeks passed, and with each family painting night, I could feel the threads of our connection tightening, weaving us closer together. We laughed, we painted, we shared stories, each stroke of the brush a whisper of love, yet, underneath the laughter, an unspoken tension simmered. Every time I caught Michael's eye, there was a flicker of concern, a shadow that passed over his face. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the garden, I sensed something was off. Sarah and David were engrossed in their canvases, but Michael's silence weighed heavily in the air. I set my brush down, my heart racing as I approached him. "Michael, what's bothering you?" I asked, my voice steady but laced with worry. He turned to look at me, his expression a mix of frustration and sadness. This isn't the only change we're facing," he said, his voice heavy. "We need to talk about finances. College isn't cheap, and I worry about what's ahead." I felt a knot tighten in my stomach. The weight of reality pressed down on me. "We've saved for this, haven't we? We'll manage, won't we?" I tried to sound confident, but doubt crept in. "Managing is one thing, Lisa, but what if it's not enough? What if we can't support them through their dreams?" His eyes searched mine for understanding. I wanted to reassure him, but fear wrapped its icy fingers around my heart. David looked up, sensing the shift in the atmosphere. "Mum, Dad, is everything okay?" His voice was laced with concern, a stark contrast to the carefree spirit he had just moments before. "Just a chat about college expenses, love." "Nothing to worry about," I replied, forcing a smile. But in that moment, I saw the flicker of anxiety in David's eyes, and it pierced me like a knife. "Is it going to be tight?" he asked, his enthusiasm deflating. No, it's just a conversation we need to have," I said, trying to brush it off. But the heaviness clung to us, a dark cloud over our vibrant canvases. Sarah, sensing the tension, stepped in. "We can always find scholarships or work-study programs," she suggested, her voice bright but tentative. "I can look into it, and David can help." "Yeah, we'll figure it out together," David chimed in, trying to lighten the mood, but I could see the worry etched on their faces, and my heart ached. "Listen, it's just a transition. We'll adapt. We always do," I said, my voice steadier than I felt. Yet, in the back of my mind, the nagging doubt persisted. That night, as I lay in bed beside Michael, I could hear the soft hum of the television in the background. He stared at the ceiling, lost in thought. "I hate feeling this way," he finally admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "I feel like I'm failing as a provider." "Michael, you are not failing. We've worked hard for this. The kids are thriving, and that's what matters," I reassured him, but I could feel the cracks forming beneath our surface. "I know, but it's different now. They need more than just love. They need security," he said, turning to face me. "And I'm scared that we won't be able to give it to them." His words struck a chord deep within me. I wanted to believe we could pull through, that our love would be enough. But the reality of adulthood loomed large, and I felt that familiar sense of loss creeping back in. In the days that followed, I noticed a shift. Sarah and David began to work longer hours at their part-time jobs, their laughter replaced by serious discussions about money and budgets. The warmth of our family painting nights dimmed, replaced by a subtle tension that hung in the air like the threat of rain. One evening, I pushed aside my fear and suggested a family movie night. "Let's watch something fun, something that reminds us of happier times," I said, hoping to lighten the mood. As we settled into the living room, the flickering light from the screen cast shadows across our faces. I looked at my children, their expressions a blend of exhaustion and determination. The film played, but I could sense their minds were elsewhere, lost in thoughts of college applications and finances. Midway through the movie, I turned to Sarah, who was scrolling through her phone, her brow furrowed. "What's going on, sweetheart?" I asked gently, my heart aching for her. "Just looking at tuition rates for art schools," she replied, her voice tight. "It's overwhelming, Mum. I want to follow my dreams, but I don't want to burden you guys." "Sarah, you're not a burden. We're all in this together," I said, trying to instill confidence. But the shadow of doubt loomed large, and I felt the warmth of connection slipping further away. David chimed in, his voice heavy. "Maybe I should take fewer classes this term, work more hours. I don't want you to worry about me." "No, you both should focus on your studies. We'll find a way," I insisted, but inside, I felt the weight of the world pressing down on me. The next day, I decided to reach out to a friend, Elizabeth, who had been through a similar ordeal with her children. We met for coffee, and as I poured out my heart, she listened intently. "It's tough, isn't it? Watching them grow up and face adult challenges," she said, her voice laced with understanding. "Yes, I want to support them, but I feel this pressure mounting," I confessed, feeling the tears prick at the corners of my eyes. "I don't want to suffocate their dreams with my fears." Elizabeth nodded. "It's about balance. They need to feel secure, but they also need to grow. Let them know it's okay to struggle. It builds character. Her words resonated with me. I realized that perhaps the tension came from wanting to shield them from hardship, to keep them safe in a world that felt increasingly uncertain. That evening, I gathered the family for a heart-to-heart. I know things are tense, and I want us to face this together, I began, my voice steady. We need to talk about our finances and how we can support each other through this. Michael nodded, relief washing over his face. We can brainstorm options, look for scholarships, and be open about our worries, he said. Sarah and David exchanged glances, their expressions softening. We want to be a part of this, Mum, Sarah said softly. We want to help. As we settled into a conversation filled with vulnerability and hope, I felt the tension begin to lift. We shared our fears and dreams openly, allowing the love that bound us to shine through. In that moment, I realized that while the journey ahead might be fraught with challenges, we were not alone. We were a family, united against the storms of life, and together, we would weather whatever came our way. Hope flickered like a candle in the dark as we navigated those conversations, each word a spark igniting something within me. I watched Sarah and David nod, their eyes reflecting a shared determination. Together, we began to map out a plan, one that felt less like a burden and more like a mission. Why don't we create a family budget? I suggested, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. We can track our expenses and see where we can save. It'll give us a clearer picture. David leaned forward, excitement creeping into his voice. I can help with that. I've been learning about budgeting in my economics class. It's all about prioritizing what matters. Exactly. I smiled, heart swelling with pride. And we can look into scholarships and grants, Sarah. Your art is special, and there are programs out there waiting for talent like yours. Her face brightened as she considered the possibilities. I could showcase my work online, maybe even apply for competitions. That could help cover some costs. See, you both have what it takes, Michael chimed in, his voice steady. You've inherited your mother's determination. We will find a way, together. The mood shifted, the heaviness lifting as we shifted from anxiety to action. It felt like we were planting seeds of hope, nurturing them with love and shared effort. We spent the next few days combing through websites, filling out forms, and brainstorming creative ideas. One evening, as we gathered around the dining table, I pulled out a stack of papers. Let's put our ideas together, I said, laying them out like pieces of a puzzle. We can create a vision board. It'll keep us inspired. David grinned, grabbing some markers. I love that idea. We can make it colorful, with all our dreams on it. As we worked, laughter filled the air. Each stroke of the marker felt like a brush of renewal. I watched as Sarah illustrated her dreams, a vibrant art studio, canvases splashed with color. David sketched blueprints of futuristic buildings, his passion shining through every line. In that moment, I felt the weight of my fears begin to dissolve. I wasn't just a mother worrying about the future. I was a part of something bigger. We were a family, creating a tapestry of dreams woven together with resilience and love. As our vision board took shape, I found myself reflecting on the stories my parents had shared. They had faced their own challenges, navigating the complexities of life with unwavering faith. My mother often reminded me, when the world feels heavy, lean into your faith. It's a beacon of hope. I felt that beacon guiding me now. I turned to my family, my heart full. Let's not forget to pray together. We need that support as we move forward. Michael nodded, his eyes softening. I agree. It's important to keep our faith at the center of this. We'll pull through, as long as we trust in each other and in God's guidance. We gathered hands around the table, each heartbeat echoing a shared rhythm of hope. As we prayed, I felt the warmth of love envelop us, a cocoon of strength. I could almost see the threads of our dreams intertwining, creating a fabric of unity. Days turned into weeks, and the collaboration sparked a renewed sense of purpose. We tackled tasks with a fresh perspective, celebrating small victories along the way. David landed a part-time job at a local cafe, his smile brightening the mornings. Sarah organized an online art show, showcasing her talent and connecting with others who shared her passion. Every step they took felt like a brick laid in the foundation of their future. I reveled in their determination, each success lifting my spirits. The walls of our home, once echoing with silence, began to resonate with laughter and shared stories again. One Saturday, we decided to take a break from our planning. Let's do something fun, I suggested, my eyes sparkling with excitement. How about a family outing? We need to celebrate our hard work. Great idea, Mum, David exclaimed. We could go to that new art exhibit downtown. I heard it's fantastic. Sarah's face lit up. I'd love to see that. Plus, it'll give me some inspiration for my own work. We piled into the car, the energy buzzing between us like electricity. As we drove, I felt a wave of gratitude wash over me. This was the family I had longed for, the one that faced challenges together, embracing the journey with open hearts. The exhibit was a feast for the senses. Art adorned the walls, each piece telling a story. We wandered, discussing interpretations and sharing thoughts. I watched as Sarah's eyes sparkled with inspiration, her passion reigniting with every stroke of color. This is amazing, she whispered, her voice filled with wonder. It makes me feel like I belong in this world. David chimed in, his enthusiasm infectious. And it shows that creativity is limitless. We just need to believe in ourselves. I felt their words resonate within me, a reminder that hope flourishes when nurtured. As we explored the last gallery, I caught a glimpse of a painting that spoke to my heart. A family gathered beneath a sprawling tree, their arms wrapped around each other, laughter emanating from their smiles. This one, I breathed, pointing it out to my family. It captures everything we've been working towards: togetherness, love, and resilience. Michael moved closer, wrapping an arm around my shoulders. That's us, love. No matter the challenges, we will always have each other. Tears welled in my eyes as I nodded, overwhelmed by the beauty of our journey. We were navigating uncharted waters, but with faith as our compass, we would always find our way back home. In that moment, surrounded by art and hope, I realized that family wasn't just about being together physically. It was about the bonds we built, the love we shared, and the dreams we chased hand in hand. And as we stepped outside, bathed in the golden light of the setting sun, I felt a sense of peace wash over me. We were more than a family facing financial struggles. We were a tapestry of dreams, woven together by resilience and hope. Together, we would not just survive, we would thrive. The next few weeks unfolded like a tapestry, vibrant and intricate. Each day brought new challenges, but we faced them together, weaving our dreams into a shared narrative. I found solace in the small moments, the quiet laughter in the kitchen as we tried new recipes, and the debates over what to watch during family movie nights. Those snippets of life became the fuel for my soul, igniting a warmth I thought had dimmed forever. One evening, as I cleared the table after dinner, I noticed Michael staring at his phone, an unusual frown creasing his brow. "Everything all right, love?" I asked, placing a hand on his shoulder. He looked up, uncertainty flickering in his eyes. "I just got an email from work. They're restructuring, and there might be layoffs." My heart sank. "When will you know more?" "Not for a few weeks. But it's worrying." His voice was steady, but I could see the tension in his jaw. I took a deep breath, wrapping my arms around him. "We'll get through it. We have each other, and we're stronger together." He nodded, but the worry still lingered. I brewed a cup of tea, the steam curling through the air as we sat in silence, the weight of uncertainty pressing down. Days turned into nights, the world outside continuing its relentless pace, while we held our breath. Michael kept the news to himself, trying to shield us from unnecessary worry. But I could feel the tension in our home, like a shadow creeping into the corners. One Saturday morning, I decided to take a bold step. "Let's have a family meeting," I declared, gathering everyone in the living room. "We need to talk about what's happening." David looked up from his game, confusion etched on his face. "What do you mean?" "About Dad's job. I think we should face this together." Sarah put down her sketchbook, her expression shifting to one of concern. "Is it serious?" I glanced at Michael, who nodded, finally ready to share the burden. "I might be at risk of losing my job, but we're a family. We can figure this out together." The room fell silent. I could see the realization dawning on their faces, the innocence of their youth confronted with the reality of adult life. David spoke first, his voice steady. "We can help, Dad. I can work more at the cafe, maybe even look for another job. And I can sell some of my artwork online," Sarah added, determination sparking in her eyes. "If it helps, I'll do it." Michael smiled, a flicker of pride breaking through the cloud of anxiety. "I appreciate that, but it's not just about money. We need to support each other emotionally too." I felt my heart swell. This was the resilience I had hoped to nurture. "We'll stay grounded in our faith. Together, we will weather this storm. As we unpacked our fears and hopes, I could see the threads of our family bond tightening. Each word shared was like a stitch, weaving us closer together. We talked about budgeting, trimming expenses, and finding creative ways to support one another. The next week, we put our plan into action. David took on extra shifts at the cafe, and Sarah's online art sales began to gain traction. Each small success felt monumental, a testament to our collective strength. But as days turned into weeks, Michael's anxiety grew heavier. He began to withdraw, spending late nights in his study. I could see the worry etched on his face, the way his shoulders sagged under the weight of unspoken fears. One evening I found him staring out the window, lost in thought. "Michael," I said softly, joining him, "you need to talk about this. We're all in this together." He turned to me, vulnerability flickering in his eyes. "I'm scared, Lisa. I've always been the provider. What if I can't keep this family afloat?" "Your worth isn't tied to your job," I replied, my voice steady. "You've always been our anchor, and that doesn't change. We're a family, and we face life's challenges together." He took a deep breath, the tension in his body beginning to ease slightly. "I know, but it's hard. I don't want to let you down." "You could never let us down," I reminded him, pulling him into a comforting embrace. "We are here for you, just as you have always been for us." As the weeks rolled on, the uncertainty of Michael's job loomed over us like a dark cloud. We held fast to our routines, but there was a palpable change in the air. I noticed my children's laughter growing quieter, their conversations more subdued. One night, after a particularly long day, I sat on the couch, reflecting on the journey we had taken together. It was a path of growth and resilience, but the weight of the unknown felt heavier than ever. Suddenly, my phone buzzed, breaking the silence. It was a message from Sarah. "Mom, I need to talk to you." I felt a knot of worry form. "What's wrong?" I texted back. "Can we FaceTime?" Within moments, her face appeared on my screen, eyes wide with emotion. "Mom, I'm worried about Dad. He seems so stressed. I don't know how to help him." My heart ached for her. "I know, sweetheart. We're all feeling the pressure. But we need to be strong for him. He needs to know we're in this together." "I want to do something special for him," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "Maybe a surprise dinner or something to lift his spirits?" "That's a wonderful idea," I exclaimed, feeling a wave of hope wash over me. "Let's plan it together." As we brainstormed, I felt a renewed sense of purpose. This was our family's way of coming together, of lifting each other up. We began to plan the dinner, deciding on Michael's favorite dishes, gathering decorations, and even creating a playlist of his favorite songs. The day of the dinner, the atmosphere in our home shifted. We transformed the dining room into a cozy sanctuary, twinkling fairy lights casting a warm glow. When Michael walked in, the surprise spread across his face, momentarily lifting the heaviness that had settled over him. "Wow, what's all this?" he asked, his eyes shining with surprise. "Just a little something to remind you how much we love you," I said, my voice filled with warmth. As we sat around the table, laughter and love filled the air once more. We shared stories, reminiscing about our favorite family moments, the laughter weaving us tighter together. Each bite of food tasted like hope. Every shared smile was a promise of resilience. I watched Michael's shoulders relax, the light returning to his eyes. In that moment I realized something profound. Life's storms may be relentless, but together we could weather anything. We were a family forged in love, resilience, and faith. And as we raised our glasses in a toast, I felt the weight of uncertainty lift, replaced by the warmth of unity. "Here's to us," I said, my heart full. "To our family, and to the journey ahead." "Together," they echoed, the strength of our bond echoing in their voices, a testament to the power of love and faith. We wouldn't just survive, we would thrive, come what may. The days rolled on, each one a mix of hope and uncertainty. Our little surprise dinner had rekindled Michael's spirits, but beneath the surface, I sensed a lingering tension. He wore his concerns like a tight coat, unable to shed its weight. One evening, after the kids had gone to bed, I found him in the garden, staring up at the stars. The night sky was vast, filled with possibilities. I stepped outside, the cool air brushing against my skin. "Mind if I join you?" I asked, my voice soft. He turned, his expression one of surprise. "Of course, love." We stood side by side, breathing in the silence. I could feel the unspoken words hanging in the air, heavy and thick. What's on your mind? I prodded gently. I just keep thinking about work, he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. What if I can't find something else? What if this is it? I placed my hand on his arm, feeling the tension coiled beneath his skin. You're more than your job, Michael. You've always been our rock. This doesn't define you. His eyes flickered with a mix of gratitude and doubt. I know, but it's hard not to feel like I'm failing you all. Look at our family, I urged, gesturing to the house behind us. We're still standing strong. You taught us that resilience runs deep. He sighed, the weight of his fears beginning to ease. I need to remember that. I don't want to let you down. You could never let us down. We have each other, and that's what matters. We stood in the stillness, the stars twinkling above us like promises waiting to be fulfilled. I could see the uncertainty in his eyes shift to a glimmer of hope. The next day, I decided to take a leap of my own. I had recently discovered a local support group for women navigating similar transitions. It was time to connect with others who understood the complexities of this new chapter. As I walked into the community center, a wave of nerves washed over me. The room was filled with familiar faces, women of all ages, each carrying their own burdens. I took a deep breath, reminding myself of the strength we had cultivated as a family. Welcome, everyone, the facilitator, a warm woman named Margaret, greeted us. This is a safe space to share, listen, and grow together. I felt my heart beat a little faster. Would I be able to share my story? Would they understand? As the meeting unfolded, women began to share their experiences. Some spoke of loss, others of new beginnings. Each story resonated with me, weaving a thread of connection. When my turn came, I took a deep breath and began. I'm Lisa, I said, my voice steady. I'm in a transition phase. My children have left for college, and my husband is facing job uncertainty. I'm trying to rediscover who I am without the roles I've always known. There was a palpable understanding in the room, nods of recognition, whispers of support. It felt like a balm to my soul. After the meeting, a woman named Claire approached me. I felt what you said. My children are grown too, and it can feel like you're standing on the edge of a cliff, unsure of what comes next. I know exactly what you mean, I replied, feeling a flicker of camaraderie. It's like I'm searching for a new identity. Maybe it's not about losing who you were, but evolving into who you're meant to be, she suggested, her eyes shining with insight. I pondered her words as I drove home, the sky painted in hues of orange and pink. Maybe this was my chance to discover new passions, to redefine my purpose. That evening, I shared my experience with Michael. I met some wonderful women today. They understand what we're going through. His eyes sparkled with interest. That's great. What did you learn? Claire said something that struck me. She mentioned evolving instead of losing myself. I think that's what we need to focus on. He nodded thoughtfully. What do you want to explore? I don't know yet, but I feel like there are pieces of me I've left behind. Maybe I can take up painting again, or get involved in community projects. Whatever it is, I'll support you, he said, his voice filled with sincerity. The next few weeks became a whirlwind of exploration. I signed up for a painting class at the local community center, a place bursting with creativity. Each brushstroke was a journey, a rediscovery of the vibrant colors within me. I found solace in the rhythm of the brush against the canvas. The act of creating became a meditation, a way to express emotions I had bottled up. With each painting, I felt a piece of myself reawakening. One Saturday, I invited Sarah to join me for a painting session. Come on, Mum, let's see what you've been working on, she said, her excitement contagious. As we painted side by side, I felt a connection deepening. You know, I'm starting to understand that it's okay to embrace change, I shared, glancing at her. She smiled, her eyes sparkling. I think you're doing an amazing job. You're like my own personal artist. We laughed, the sound echoing around the room, blending with the swirls of paint. In that moment, I realized that this was not just about finding myself. It was about growing together as a family, supporting one another through every twist and turn. One evening, as I hung my latest painting on the wall, Michael walked in, his eyes widening. That's beautiful, Lisa. You've really captured something special. Thanks. I feel like I'm finally expressing a part of me that's been tucked away. He stepped closer, studying the artwork. It's like you're telling a story through your colors. Exactly, and I want to share that with all of you. As the weeks unfolded, our family dynamic began to shift again. The laughter returned, filling our home with warmth. There were evenings spent painting together, creating a tapestry of creativity that brought us closer. One night, as we gathered around the dining table, I looked at my family and felt a swell of love. "I think we're learning to adapt," I said, my heart full. "We're not just surviving, we're thriving." Michael raised his glass, a smile lighting up his face. "To our family, to adapting, and to the journey ahead." "To us," Sarah and David echoed, their voices ringing with joy. With each passing day, I realized that discovering oneself is not a solitary journey. It's a shared experience, woven through the fabric of love, faith, and resilience. Together, we were not just finding our way, we were creating a home once more, one brush stroke at a time. The sun streamed through the kitchen window, casting a warm glow on the breakfast table. I stood there, pouring orange juice into glasses, feeling a sense of purpose that had been absent for far too long. The laughter of my family filled the air as they gathered around, their spirits high. "Did you finish your painting?" Sarah asked, her eyes alight with curiosity. "Almost. Just need to add a few final touches," I replied, wiping my hands on a dish towel, a smile breaking across my face. "Can I see it later?" she pressed, her enthusiasm infectious. "Of course," I said, feeling a flutter of excitement at the thought of sharing my work. As we sat down to breakfast, the conversations flowed freely. David animatedly recounted his latest engineering project, complete with sketches he'd brought home. Michael chimed in with suggestions, his expertise evident. I watched the dynamic play out, the bond between them strengthening with each shared idea. "Dad, you should come to my next presentation," David exclaimed, his voice brimming with pride. "Absolutely, I wouldn't miss it for the world," Michael replied, his eyes shining with encouragement. Amidst all this, I felt a quiet victory blooming within me. This was the family I had longed for, one where support and love reigned. We were rising from our past struggles, learning to embrace change together, and it was beautiful. Later that day, I found myself in front of the canvas, brush in hand. The colors danced beneath my touch, each stroke a reflection of my journey. I felt the emotions I had bottled up for so long pouring out: fear, joy, hope, and the realization that I was more than just a mother. I was a creative spirit, an individual with dreams and aspirations. As the painting took shape, I lost track of time, the outside world fading away. Each layer brought forth new depths, new dimensions. I was in my element, a feeling I hadn't experienced in years. This was my victory, my reclaiming of self. That evening, Sarah joined me in the studio, her own canvas set up beside mine. "I want to paint too," she declared, her determination evident. "Let's create something together," I suggested, feeling a rush of inspiration. We began to share ideas, our brushes moving in harmony. The air filled with laughter as we painted, each stroke telling a story. In that moment, I realized that our relationship was blossoming too. We were not just mother and daughter, we were collaborators, artists entwined in a shared journey. Weeks turned into months, and I found joy in my painting classes, surrounded by women who uplifted one another. Each session felt like a celebration of resilience, a reminder that we were all navigating our own transitions. I formed friendships that became lifelines, a network of support. One evening, Margaret organized an art showcase, inviting us to display our work. My heart raced with anticipation. What if no one likes my painting? I fretted, doubt creeping in. "Lisa, your art is your voice," Margaret reassured me. "It doesn't need anyone's approval, it's about your journey." Her words echoed in my mind as I prepared for the event. I hung my painting, a vibrant piece that encapsulated my growth. A swirling landscape of colors, each shade representing a different emotion. I felt vulnerable, yet proud. As the evening unfolded, I mingled with fellow artists, exchanging stories and laughter. When people began to notice my work, I felt a warmth spreading within. "This is beautiful," one woman said, her eyes wide with appreciation. "Thank you. It represents my journey of rediscovering myself," I replied, my heart swelling with pride. The night culminated in a moment I'll never forget. Margaret called everyone's attention, her voice steady and warm. "We want to give a special mention to Lisa for her incredible resilience and creativity. Her artwork truly captures the essence of transformation." I stood there, stunned, as applause erupted around me. My heart raced, a mix of surprise and gratitude flooding through me. This was a victory, not just for me, but for every woman in that room. As I returned home, the joy from the evening still coursed through my veins. Michael greeted me at the door, his face lighting up. "You did it! I knew you would shine." "I can't believe it," I said, breathless with excitement. It felt so good to share my story. He pulled me into a warm embrace, his strength grounding me. "You're unstoppable, Lisa. I'm so proud of you." In the days that followed, I poured my heart into my art, each piece a testament to my journey. I painted with Sarah and David, our creative sessions evolving into a cherished family tradition. One evening, as I watched them create, I felt a surge of gratitude. "You both inspire me every day," I said, my voice thick with emotion. "Thanks, Mum. You're the best artist," Sarah beamed, her own artwork vibrant and full of life. David nodded in agreement. "You've taught us that it's not just about the end result, it's about the journey." Those words hung in the air, a reminder of our shared growth. We weren't merely surviving, we were thriving, our family bonds deepening with every brushstroke, every laugh. As I stepped back to admire our collaborative mural, I felt a profound sense of victory. This was our family, a tapestry woven with love, resilience, and hope. We had created a home again, one filled with laughter, creativity, and the unwavering belief that together we could overcome anything. In the quiet moments, I reflected on how far we had come. Michael and I had faced uncertainty, yet we had emerged stronger. Our children were blossoming, and so was I. Each day, I chose to embrace not just the challenges, but the victories as well. We were a family on a journey, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. We had found our home again, not in the walls that surrounded us, but in the love that bound us together. The days rolled into weeks, and the air buzzed with a new energy. I found solace in the rhythm of my routine. Each morning began with the scent of freshly brewed coffee, the sun breaking through the curtains like a gentle reminder of hope. I'd sit at the kitchen table, the warmth of the mug cradling my hands, and watch as Sarah and David filled the space with their laughter. "Did you see this?" Sarah exclaimed one morning, waving a magazine in the air. "They're showcasing local artists. We should submit your painting, Mum." I chuckled, a flutter of nerves dancing in my stomach. "Maybe one day," I replied, but the thought lingered, igniting a flicker of ambition within me. Michael joined us, his usual calm demeanor radiating strength. "You've come so far, Lisa. You should be proud of what you've achieved." His words wrapped around me like a warm hug. "Thanks, love," I said softly, my heart swelling. "It's still a bit daunting, you know?" "Just take it one step at a time," he encouraged, his eyes steady. "You've already started this beautiful journey. Don't hold back now." I nodded, feeling the weight of his belief in me. Each conversation, each shared moment with my family was a thread weaving us closer together. Later that week, I found myself in the church basement, a small group of women gathered for our art therapy session. The atmosphere buzzed with support, laughter echoing off the walls like a soft chorus. As we painted, I shared my fears and triumphs, the words tumbling out alongside the paint. "I painted something new last night," I admitted, my voice barely above a whisper. "It's about finding light in the darkness." Margaret, always the beacon of encouragement, smiled brightly. "Let's see it, Lisa. Your journey inspires us all." With a deep breath, I revealed my latest work. It was a vibrant depiction of a sunrise breaking through a stormy sky. The colors danced, capturing the essence of resilience. "It's stunning," she exclaimed, the admiration in her voice warming me. "You've captured that feeling of hope beautifully." The other women nodded in agreement, their eyes wide with appreciation. In that moment, I felt the weight of my doubts lift. "Thank you," I said, tears pricking the corners of my eyes. "It's a reflection of how I've learned to embrace change." As we continued to paint, I noticed the vulnerability in each of us. We were all navigating our own storms, yet here we were, united in our struggles. It was a sacred space, one where we could share, heal, and grow together. Weeks passed, and my heart felt lighter. I immersed myself in my art, pouring my soul onto the canvas. I began to understand that this journey was not just about finding my identity, but about discovering my purpose. I was reclaiming a part of myself that had been hidden beneath layers of doubt and fear. One Sunday, as I sat in church, the sermon resonated deep within me. The pastor spoke of faith and resilience, about how God walks with us through our trials. "Every storm has its purpose," he said, his voice steady and powerful. "Trust in the journey, for it leads to growth." I closed my eyes, letting the words wash over me. It was a reminder that my struggles were not in vain. They were shaping me, guiding me toward a brighter path. After the service, I caught up with some friends. "I've been painting more," I shared, my heart racing at the thought of their reactions. "It's become my way of connecting with who I am." "Wow, Lisa, that's incredible. You've always had such a gift," Jennifer said, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "Maybe one day, I'll showcase my work," I added, my voice steady, the idea no longer just a whisper of doubt. "You should, we'd all come and support you," Elizabeth chimed in, her smile radiant. In that moment, I felt a surge of courage. I wasn't just a mother or a wife, I was an artist, a woman with dreams and passions. As the months rolled on, my relationship with Sarah and David blossomed. We painted together, our laughter filling the studio like a melody. They watched me transform, and in turn, I watched them flourish. One evening, David approached me, his eyes serious. "Mum, I've been thinking about what you said about how art can tell a story. I want to write a piece about our family. Can you help?" My heart swelled with pride. "Of course, I'd love to help you with that." We spent the weekend crafting his narrative, weaving in our family's journey. As we worked together, I realized that this was not just about art, it was about connection. "Thanks for always being there for us, Mum," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "You've taught us so much about resilience." Tears welled in my eyes, and I pulled him into a hug. "You inspire me every day, David. I'm so proud of you." As I stood back, watching him write, I felt a sense of peace wash over me. We were a family, and our journey was intertwined. One afternoon, Sarah approached me with a proposal. "Mum, how about we have an art night? Just us girls. We could have wine, paint, and share our stories." "Sounds perfect," I replied, my heart racing with excitement. That evening, as we gathered in the living room, laughter filled the air. We shared our dreams, our fears, and our triumphs, each brushstroke reflecting the essence of our bond. "I love this, Mum," Sarah said, her eyes shining. "It feels like we're creating something beautiful together." In that moment, I understood the true power of family. We were not just painting pictures, but crafting memories that would last a lifetime. As I looked around at the mess of colors and laughter, I felt a profound connection to my faith. God had guided me through this journey of rediscovery. He had helped me find my voice again, reminding me that even in the darkest storms, there is always light waiting to break through. Through each brushstroke, I was not just finding my way back to myself. I was building a legacy of love, resilience, and faith for my children. This was our home, a canvas painted with the richness of our lives, a tapestry that would carry us through every storm and into the light. The summer faded, and autumn leaves began to fall, each one a reminder of the changes swirling around us. I'd thrown myself into my art, pouring my heart onto the canvas. Each stroke felt like a mini victory, but shadows still lurked in my mind. Just as I began to feel a sense of purpose, a new wave of uncertainty crashed over me. One evening, as Michael and I sat on the porch, I noticed how the sunset bathed everything in golden light. "It's beautiful, isn't it?" I said, seeking comfort in the familiar. He nodded, but his eyes held a weight I couldn't quite place. "Yeah, it is. But Lisa, there's something we need to talk about." My heart sank. "What is it?" I braced myself, sensing the shift in the air. He took a deep breath, his fingers fidgeting with his wedding band. "I've been offered a promotion. It's a great opportunity, but it requires relocating to another city." The world around me seemed to blur. "Relocating? But what about the kids? What about everything we've built here?" My voice trembled, each word like a stone dropped into still water, sending ripples of fear through me. "I know it's a lot to process. It could be good for us, Lisa." "A fresh start," he said, his tone steady but distant. It felt a knot form in my stomach. "A fresh start? But I'm still trying to find my footing. The kids are just settling into their lives. Sarah's painting in college, David's focused on his engineering. I can't just uproot everything again." Michael ran a hand through his hair, frustration flickering in his eyes. "I'm not asking you to uproot everything. We can make this work. We've always found a way. But this isn't just about us anymore. They're adults now, carving their paths. I don't want to disrupt that. What if they need us?" My voice grew louder, filled with a desperation I couldn't contain. He sighed deeply, the weight of my words hanging in the air. "We can be their support from anywhere, Lisa. We've raised them to be independent. They'll be okay." "But will I?" I whispered, fear creeping back in. What if I lose myself again in another new place? The silence stretched between us, heavy and charged. I turned my gaze to the horizon, where the sun dipped below the trees, casting shadows that mirrored my doubts. I feel like I'm just starting to rebuild, Michael. I don't want to start over again. He reached for my hand, squeezing it gently. I'm not trying to take anything away from you. I want us to grow together, as a family. We'll make new memories. We'll find a way to blend our lives. Blend our lives, I repeated, my thoughts swirling. But what if we lose the essence of what we've built? That night, I lay awake, the darkness wrapping around me like a shroud. I thought of the kids, their laughter echoing in my heart. They were my anchor, but I also thought of my own journey, the art that had begun to flow through me, the woman I was rediscovering. Could I really embrace this change? The next day, I stood before my canvas, the colors vibrant yet chaotic. I was caught between the past and what lay ahead, an artist grappling with the uncertainty of her own creation. My brush moved hesitantly, reflecting my inner turmoil. By the end of the week, I found myself at the church, seeking solace among my friends. As I shared my fears, their words washed over me like a balm. Change is hard, but it's also a chance for growth, Margaret said, her voice soothing. You've already begun this journey. Don't let fear hold you back. With a heavy heart, I returned home, the conversation echoing in my mind. I needed clarity. That evening, I called a family meeting. Sarah and David joined us, their faces bright with anticipation. Mum, is everything okay? Sarah asked, her brow furrowing with concern. I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. I need to talk to you both about something important. Your dad has been offered a job in another city. Their faces shifted, confusion mixing with concern. Another city, but we just settled into our routines here, David exclaimed, disbelief flooding his voice. I know it's a lot to take in, but it could be an opportunity for us as a family, Michael interjected, his tone filled with hope. An opportunity? Sarah echoed, her eyes wide. What about our lives here? My art classes? David's internship? We can't just leave everything behind. As they spoke, I felt the familiar weight of anxiety creeping back in. I don't want to disrupt your lives, but we need to consider what this means for all of us, I said, my voice steady. David crossed his arms, frustration evident. You don't have to make this decision now. We're just starting our lives. Why not wait a year? Because we don't know what the future holds, Michael replied, his voice firm yet patient. This is a chance for us to grow, to experience new things together. The room fell silent, tension lingering like a fog. I looked at my children, their dreams hanging in the balance. I want you to know that whatever happens, we're in this together. This family bond is unbreakable. As the conversation unfolded, I felt a glimmer of hope amidst the chaos. We shared our fears, our aspirations, each voice weaving into a tapestry of understanding. I realized that embracing this change didn't mean losing our essence. It meant evolving together. In the days that followed, I found myself painting with renewed vigor. Each brushstroke became a testament to our resilience, a vivid portrayal of our journey. I painted a family, united by love and faith, navigating the unknown together. One afternoon, I stood in front of the canvas, lost in thought. I felt a surge of strength, a resolve to face whatever lay ahead. This wasn't just about Michael's job, it was about our family's future, our shared dreams. I wanted to show my children that change could be beautiful, that it could lead to growth. With every stroke, I envisioned us creating new memories, forging a new path together, hand in hand. As the leaves drifted from the trees, I felt the winds of change stirring within me. I was no longer afraid. I was ready to embrace whatever came next, fortified by faith and love. Together, we would find our way home again. The day arrived when we had to make a decision. The air was thick with unspoken words and brewing emotions. I sat at the kitchen table, the familiar scent of coffee mingling with the tension. Michael paced nearby, his hands shoved into his pockets, the weight of the world on his shoulders. Sarah and David were silent, their eyes flickering between us. Okay, let's talk about this, I finally said, my voice breaking the heavy quiet. We need to decide as a family. David looked up, his brow knit in concern. Mum, I just don't understand why we have to rush this. Can't we take our time? Time isn't on our side, Michael replied, his voice steady but filled with urgency. This opportunity won't wait. It could be a turning point for us. But what about our turning points? Sarah interjected, her passion igniting the room. My art, David's projects, our friends. We've worked so hard to settle here. I felt the room spin, the emotions swirling like autumn leaves caught in a gust of wind. I know it's hard. I want to honor your feelings, but we have to think about our family as a whole. Why do we have to sacrifice everything for a job? David's voice rose, frustration spilling over. What if it's not worth it? Because sometimes we have to step into the unknown, Michael said, his expression softening. It's about finding new opportunities and growing together. Growing together, I echoed, the words tasting bittersweet on my tongue. I looked at them, my heart aching for their dreams, but not at the cost of losing what we've built here. Can't we have both? Sarah asked, her voice trembling. Can't we find a way to stay connected, even if we move? The question hung in the air, pulsing with possibility. We can, I said slowly, pulling a deep breath into my lungs. We can find a way to blend our lives wherever we are. David leaned forward, his eyes narrowing. Then how do we do that? How do we keep our lives intact while starting something new? I glanced at Michael, and in that moment, I saw the flicker of understanding. It starts with us, I said, my voice gaining strength. We set the tone. We build our new home on the foundation of love and faith. Faith, Sarah whispered, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. We've always had that. Yes, I affirmed, my heart swelling with pride. We lean into each other. We lean into our faith. We make regular trips back to visit. We stay connected through technology. Our roots run deep, no matter where we are. Michael stepped closer, his eyes shining with hope. We can create new traditions, explore a new city together, discover new parks, museums, restaurants. Our family doesn't end with a geographical change. It evolves. But what if it's not the same? David countered, uncertainty still lingering in his voice. What if it's worse? I reached for his hand, squeezing it tightly. Change is scary, but it can also be beautiful. Remember, we're not losing the essence of who we are. We're expanding. Just like this kitchen table can be a gathering place for meals, laughter, and heart-to-heart talks, we can create new spaces wherever we go. Michael nodded, his expression softening. We're in this together, no matter the distance. We face the challenges as a united front. That's what family is about. With every word, I felt the knot in my stomach begin to unravel. We'll make a plan. We'll stay plugged into each other's lives. Our love will be our anchor. David sighed, his shoulders relaxing slightly. Okay, maybe that could work. But I still don't want to leave everything behind. Neither do I, Sarah added, her voice steadier now. But if we do this together, maybe it won't feel like giving up. Exactly, I said, my heart swelling with pride. We'll take what matters most with us, the love, the laughter, the faith. We'll explore together, make new memories, and discover who we are in this new chapter. I could see the flicker of hope in their eyes, the beginnings of acceptance. The air shifted, a lightness replacing the heaviness. Okay, David said finally, his voice firm. If we're doing this, we'll do it together. But we'll need to plan visits back. Regular ones. Of course, Michael replied, relief washing over his face. We'll make it a priority, family first. As we sat together, I felt a warmth blossoming in my chest. This was a pivotal moment, a turning point. We were no longer caught in the conflict of change, but embracing it as a family. Let's make a list of things we want to do together, I suggested, my excitement bubbling over. Places to visit, things to try. The conversation flowed, laughter rising like a phoenix from the ashes of our worry. Ideas bounced around the table, our voices weaving a tapestry of dreams and plans. Each suggestion brought us closer, solidifying the foundation we would build upon. Later that evening, as I stood in front of my canvas, I felt a surge of inspiration. I painted not just a family facing the unknown, but one that was buoyed by faith and love, ready to embrace whatever came next. The strokes flowed with purpose, each color vibrant and alive, depicting hope, resilience, and the promise of new beginnings. I stepped back, gazing at the canvas, a reflection of our journey. We were a family, forever intertwined, navigating life's currents together. No distance could sever the bond we shared. We would find our home again, in each other, in the love that would always guide us. As I put down my brush, I whispered a silent prayer of gratitude. We were ready to embrace this change. Together, we would create a beautiful future, one filled with laughter, love, and endless possibilities. The sun dipped low on the horizon, casting a warm glow that filled our home with golden light. I stood in the living room, surrounded by boxes, yet it felt different now. We were packing not just belongings but memories, ready to carry them into a new chapter. There was a sense of excitement mixed with melancholy, a bittersweet farewell to the familiar. Michael walked in, a small smile dancing on his lips. "You ready?" he asked, his voice warm but steady, the anchor in this storm of change. "Ready as I'll ever be," I replied, my heart racing. "I think." The kids bounded in, filled with enthusiasm. Sarah had her camera in hand, capturing every moment. "Let's take a picture in front of the house before we leave," she beamed, her eyes sparkling with a mix of nostalgia and hope. We gathered together, arms around each other, the laughter easing the tension. "Say family," Sarah called out, and we all shouted it, a chorus of love and resilience. As the shutter clicked, I felt a sense of unity. No matter where we'd go, this family bond was unbreakable. The drive to our new home was filled with chatter and music, a playlist of our favorite songs echoing our journey. I glanced at the kids in the back seat, their faces lit with excitement. Sarah was already planning outings, while David shared ideas about his new school. Their anticipation was infectious. "Just think of all the new parks we can explore," David exclaimed, his voice full of enthusiasm. "And museums, we could make a list of all the places we want to visit." "I love that idea," I chimed in, feeling a surge of hope. "We'll discover so much together, it's like a grand adventure." Michael reached for my hand, squeezing it gently. "We're forging our own path. This is a new beginning, and we'll make it beautiful." As we pulled into the driveway of our new home, my heart raced. The house stood tall, inviting, yet a little foreign. The garden was overgrown, but I could already imagine it blooming with life. We stepped out, the air fragrant with possibilities. I took a deep breath, inhaling the scent of fresh paint and new beginnings. "Let's get to work," Michael said, determination in his voice. Together, we unloaded boxes, laughter mingling with the sounds of rustling paper. Each item we unpacked sparked memories, stories shared, and dreams for the future. "Remember when we painted the living room that awful shade of orange?" I laughed, glancing at Michael. "We swore it was going to be the next big trend." He chuckled, shaking his head. "That was a disaster, but it made for great memories." As the day wore on, we transformed the house into our home. I painted the walls with soft, warm colors, while Sarah organized her art supplies in a corner. David set up his gadgets, determined to make his new room a haven for creativity. In the evenings, we gathered around the table for dinner, sharing stories of our day. The food was simple, but the atmosphere was filled with warmth and laughter. "What's your favorite thing about our new place?" I asked, looking around the table. "My room has the best light for painting," Sarah declared, her eyes sparkling. "I can't wait to create." "I love how close we are to the park," David added, his excitement contagious. "We can play soccer every weekend." Michael and I exchanged looks, a silent acknowledgement that we were building something beautiful together, brick by brick. Weeks passed, and our new life began to take shape. We established routines, explored the neighborhood, and even made new friends. Yet, every Sunday, we returned to our roots, attending church as a family. The familiar hymns wrapped around us like a comforting embrace, reminding us of the faith that guided us through this transition. One Sunday, as we sat in the pews, I felt a wave of gratitude wash over me. The sermon spoke of hope, resilience, and the strength found in community. I glanced at my family, Sarah sketching in her notebook, David doodling robots, and Michael, deep in thought. My heart swelled. This was our home, built on love, faith, and unwavering support. After the service, we gathered with friends, sharing stories and laughter. The connections we formed brought a sense of belonging, a reminder that family extends beyond blood. That evening, as I stood by my easel, I painted a scene of our new life, bright colors swirling together, a reflection of the journey we had embarked upon. Each brush stroke whispered of hope, healing, and the promise of new beginnings. I stepped back, admiring the canvas. Our family was a tapestry of experiences, woven together through love and faith. No matter where we roamed, home was wherever we were together. As I put down the brush, I whispered a prayer, thanking God for guiding us through this journey. We had faced our fears, embraced the unknown, and emerged stronger. I knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, we would navigate them as a family, united in love. In the quiet of that moment, I felt a profound sense of peace. We had found our way home again, not just to a new house, but to each other. And in that, I realized, we could conquer anything that came our way.